Good morning. So, I've been trying to figure out how to talk to you guys for the last couple of days. Because I've had a major breakthrough happen. I feel like I might have broke the matrix. And then trying to explain to my daughter last night about how my reality is much different than her reality. Because reality doesn't exist. And I've been working on some rules of engagement with the Matrix. Maybe I'll share a few. But when I got my coffee this morning, I put on my music, and the first song to come on was The Fighter by In This Moment. And I'm shuffling the cards to see if anything wants to come through, if anything wants to be spoken about. And I've got transformation through illumination, the magician. And look at that. Just look at that card. This card, this particular card, is literally what I've been going through the last 48 hours. What I've been feeling. Last night I heard, you want to know a secret. And I was like, yeah, I want to know a secret. And the voice replied back with, don't even have an expectation for what reality is. And I was like, whoa. Because as I'm writing these rules of engagement, like, no expectations whatsoever, 100% flow state, completely returning to the 0 point in it, but not of it. In it, but not of it. When Jesus said, you're in the world, but you're not of it, he was referring to the illusion. So what we have here is an exact tarot reminder of what I feel like to be me breaking the matrix in my own life. I don't know how else to explain it, but when I got well, let's talk about these other these other two cards, because these also came out with those. I found it interesting. So the Two of Light codes is the Two of Wands. Action plan. And then harmony and adversity with the Five of Light codes. This is seven wands. The Seven of Wands being the Valor card. The Hold Your Light with Dignity card. So the Five of Light codes is competition, but we find harmony in adversity. We find balance within the differences with other people. We find harmony within the dissonance of our own minds. And then action plan with the Two of Light codes is literally what the Two of Wands represents, right? An action plan, making a plan for what happens next. So last night while I was working on the rules of engagement, is what I'm calling them right now. Last night while I was working on them, I really did hear something about, that's kind of what Jesus meant when he said you're of the world, or you're in the world, but you're not of it. So let me find that. Hold on. Okay, so the world you see is not reality. It's projected consciousness. And you don't escape the matrix by destroying it. You escape the matrix by not giving it consent anymore. You don't consent to the illusion. The illusion is literally the energy that is projected by you and everybody else. This is about jumping out of the simulation. Transformation through illumination. Okay, let me tell you what happened. I came home from work the night before last, and Adam was still sleeping. He'd been asleep all day. And I had made a conscious choice to come home, whether he was sleeping or awake, and I was just going to exist. I was not going to deny him access to me in any way. I mean, granted, I have my boundaries. I wasn't going to feed anything sexual or physical, but physical touch, hugs, whatever, would be granted. I wasn't going to deny him human affection if that's what he needed that night. I'm not a huge touchy-feely person at all, and that's probably just years of programming the empath, but I decided that I was just going to roll with it, and if he needed touch to feel better about himself, then I would allow it. I wasn't going to deny him access. And I came home, and I was quiet. This is these two cards. Okay. So, I rolled one, I burned one, I sat on the bed, I watched TV, I was watching that television show, Wayward. He woke up briefly and rolled over and put his head on my chest and just laid there. And as the night went on, I took my bath, I changed my clothes, I did whatever I needed to do. And at some point in the middle of the night, he rolled over. Well, and it was kind of like at that moment, I was like, holy shit. This is like literally what it's all about. Like embodying love without forcing control. And because before I would have denied complete access to my physical body, he would have, and my emotional body, he would have never got anything. Nothing. Don't touch me. I literally would have moved him off of me. Anyway, in the middle of the night, he rolled over and just like held on to me, and I don't know if he knew I was awake, but he said, "I'm such an idiot." And left it at that. Now, you have to remember that this is after 3 days. 3 days he was gone. And he was pretty foobar whenever he got home. And if you don't know what that phrase means, foobar, effed beyond all reality. It was in that moment that I discovered this. I discovered the rules of engagement. Jesus as the Christ taught to love God with all your mind, all your heart, and all your soul. And this is the first rule above all the rules. And then the second is like unto it, love your neighbor as yourself. Love is the energy that holds the universe together. It's not an emotion. It can be, it is a human emotion, but I feel like we need a new name for it, because love is the fabric of the universe. It really, really is. And when we say to love without condition, love without condition, that means unconditional love means holding no expectation for the other people. So, love the Lord your God with all your mind, all your heart, and all your soul. And he had already, before he made that statement, he had already said that, or made reference to a couple of times, that the kingdom of heaven is within, and that you have the Father in you just as I have the Father in me. He was roundabout trying to tell the people, the Jews that were his disciples, trying to teach them that they were no different than him, that the Father lived within him, and that the Father lives within you. And he was being mystical about it until he was standing on the courthouse steps and he said, "Do not your own scriptures say that you are all gods?" Jesus the man was trying to, through sacred rage and sacred apathy, he was trying to dismantle the religious system, because religion is control. And humans are not meant to be controlled. Not like that. Not like that. Control, we're stuck in this spiritual slavery where we're all controlled by the illusion. Okay. So those are the first two rules. And I was sitting there thinking about it, and I was like, okay, so I've done that. I've loved the Lord God with all of my mind, all of my heart, and all of my soul. I love me above everybody else. And it seems selfish, because it is, just a wee little bit. But I love myself more than I love your projection. I don't have to feed that projection. I don't have to feed the matrix anymore. Love your neighbor as you would love yourself. With compassion, I see that you are broken. And I love you, but I'm not going to enable you. I'm not going to allow you to step over my boundaries. And I can only help you if you start helping yourself, because this whole journey is all about you. Okay, so after I got off the video where I was saying that he was home, he did come in the house before I left for work, and what did I say to him? Oh, I was out. It was like 7 o'clock in the morning, and I was out with the dogs in the backyard, and he hopped the fence from his mom's house, and he came over, and I started to react. He wanted to know if I could fix his glasses, because yet again, he squished them and popped the lens out, and he needs to go to the eye doctor anyway and get new glasses, but that's neither here nor there. So, anyway, I was like, what, you get to be gone for 3 days and then come over here and start asking me to do stuff for you? And I started to react. And he was like, whatever, never mind. And he walked back in the house. Well, the puppies followed him, so I went in the house too. And I walked in the bedroom, and I was like, just give me your glasses and I'll fix them. Never mind, I'll just do it myself. Okay, that's fine. What did I say? I was like, look, you've been gone for 3 days, and I found you over at your mom's, passed out this morning running the truck. And I could smell oil burning, so you're burning the motor up because it's got the oil pan gasket leaks like a sieve. He burns through like a quart of oil a day. And again, let me tell you, I was becoming very reactive. And I said to him, it's kind of funny to me that on Tuesday morning I gave you my Cash App card, and you got paid on Tuesday, so you suddenly had money to be gone for the next 3 days. How was I going to get high, Naoma? I don't have any access to my money. I don't have any access to my money. My card's broke. My card's not working. So I can't. I said, well, then if you don't have access to your money, then why in the fuck were you gone for 3 days? He was like, well, other people have money too. So you got high for 3 days off of other people's stash. All the more reason why you shouldn't be going and hanging out with those friends. I understand that having friends and hanging out with your friends isn't always about getting high. I get it. But for somebody who wants to get clean, you don't go and hang out with the people where you have easy access to the drug. I'm not doing this morning, Naoma. Okay, that's fine. You don't have to. But I need to know for my own peace of mind, are you going to rehab this time or what? Because I can't help you unless you tell me that you want to be helped. And I immediately started to pull back from the reactivity. And I just allowed him to lay there. You need rehab this time. Infinite self-realization. Isn't that funny? The 10 of activations. That was the sword. That was the death of the old reality. That was me escaping the matrix. And I couldn't get it out of my head all day long about how I had started to become reactive. I recognized the reactivity and I pulled myself right out of it. So then that night I came home. I had made the plan. I wasn't going to pull back affection. If he needed affection, then I was going to allow him to have that. And, but I wasn't going to, let's face it. I don't know. I don't know where we are at this point with our relationship. I don't want to be in a relationship with the addict anymore. I very much would love to be in a relationship with Adam, but I can't handle the addict. But I can love the addict, but I don't have to give the addict any energy. So I'm no longer feeding the illusion. Attune and recalibrate. This is the card that started that conversation the other day when I needed to talk about that. The Two of Swords. Attune and recalibrate. Do you want to also escape the matrix? In order to escape the matrix, you have to recognize the matrix and stop feeding it. Don't give the projections anything else to project from. The only way that you can get to that sort of a healed state where you're responding to situations instead of reacting to them is to, first and foremost, love the Lord your God with all of your mind, your body, and your soul. The chalice. The Queen of Swords. Get the job done swiftly so you can have more time and space for softness. Both efficiency and receptivity are essential, and sometimes boundaries are necessary to keep the balance. I feel like you have to be an open container. And you don't need other people. See, what started this for me this morning was the song The Fighter by In This Moment. Shh, I don't need you to save me. I don't need you to love me. You've got to become so strong in this moment that nobody needs 1711. You don't need nobody to come in and rescue you because you're your own rescuer. You're your own backup plan. Navigate from the heart. The Ten of Swords, Ten of, wait, what is this? I saw the Ten of Swords, but this is the card that I just pulled from the bottom of the deck. Navigate from the heart, the Eight of Light Codes. That's the Eight of Wands. It should also be noted that the Tower was right behind it. Equalizing power. New Earth transition. The Nine of Light Codes. Okay, so we just pulled the Priestess. The Priestess of Activations is number 63. 63 equals 9. 369. Oof, sorry. 369. The traditional tarot says that this card here is the wounded healer, the wounded warrior, sorry. Persistent presence. With the new earth transition, that's it. That's all the rules of engagement are asking. Hold no expectation for what reality actually is. And just be so present that whatever happens, happens. Be like me that night when I was like, I'm not going to withhold affection, but I'm going to continue to keep my boundaries firm. 9 of light codes. I'm going to keep holding my boundaries. I'm not going to withhold affection from him if that's what he needs, but I have absolutely no expectation whatsoever of what's going to occur out of that. He can either get clean or he could stay on drugs. I don't care. I'm going to just continue to live my life. And that's the message. I love you guys. Have a great day.